Welcome to the Day Clean Devotion Queen podcast. Each week, our podcast episodes breathe life into selected themes from the DDQ Meditation Journal. Hosted by our founder, Najma Thomas, we engage in heartfelt discussions with a diverse roster of inspirational Queen sisters. We explore their unique perspectives, uncover the wisdoms shaped by their journeys, and celebrate the trials and victories along the way. Together, we are creating a womanifestation space where conversation meets examination and sparks transformation. Welcome to the Day Clean Devotion Queen podcast. We've got another awesome episode for the DD community, and it is just my pleasure to welcome to the podcast Miss Kathryn Thompson. Kathryn, welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you accepted the invitation. Going to share with us. Before we get started, I always like to give a little background for the folks who are in the building. And so I'm going to read just a snippet of this queen's amazing bio, y'all. Kathryn Thompson is the development director for the Partnership for Housing Affordability in Richmond, Virginia. She has a BS degree in public relations from the Virginia Commonwealth University. Shout out to the Rams. She enjoys writing classes at the Visual Arts Center of Richmond and is passionate about bringing creative and cultural arts opportunities to low-income youth. She wrote her first film screenplay in summer of 2020. I had the pleasure of seeing this presented in a community setting, The Return to Me. It's a short film, and it was featured in the Afrikana Film Festival in Richmond, Virginia, and the San Diego Black Film Festival in San Diego, California, the S.E. Manley Short Film Showcase in LA, and she was also awarded an individual artist grant from CultureWorks in 2022 to develop the short film into a pilot series. So the creative is in the building, y'all.
Yeah.
In 2023, she was accepted into the Cadence Pipeline Fellowship as a screenwriting fellow, where she finished writing her second short film, Kite Tails. Can't wait to see that, Kathryn. And she continued working on editing her TV pilot series. Kathryn's passion for writing isn't just confined to screenwriting, though. She explores the themes of Black culture and spirituality through other forms of writing, and she plans to resume work on her first novel. Oh, is it going to be a romance novel, Kathryn?
It is a romance novel. I think it's also kind of historical fiction.
Okay.
I had it set down in the Mississippi Delta, so I actually wanted to take a vacation there and go walk the land. I went to New
Yeah.
Orleans because one character is from New Orleans, so I actually did go to New Orleans and walk around because I'd never been there
Okay.
just to get a feel for it. But yeah, they start as teenagers and then go into
Oh,
young adulthood.
epic romance.
Yes.
I'm in love with romance books, y'all. This has been my summer fling. It's been a wonderful summer fling too. So Kathryn also enjoys blogging, writing poetry, and hopes to write a memoir. So there's going to be so much that you can get into from this wonderful creative. But today, we're going to get into your brain a little bit, Kathryn, and your heart and soul. We're just going to get all into it.
Okay.
I'm going to start with my opening question, the same question I ask all of our featured guests,
Mhm.
and that is, how do you start your day clean? What's your morning ritual?
So I like to wake up slow, and I've been doing that for years. So I'm very grateful for my boss. But I have a meditation that's around 15 to 45 minutes when I wake up, and then I will self-administer Reiki energy as a Reiki master to myself. And then after I do that, I'll go through and light an incense in the back of the house and start a oil diffuser in the front of the house. So constant aromatherapy. I've got candles. I've got all the aromatherapy if you come visit me.
Because she
Um,
makes candles, y'all.
I do. And then I will go downstairs. I've ordered for the last 3 years the tarot journal from Ritual Planner. So I'll go downstairs and pull 3 cards for the energy of the day. And then I go outside and try to walk a few miles, and then I start my day after that.
That's beautiful. And so you mentioned like gratitude for having the space and the time to be able to sort of engage and prepare yourself for the day like that. That
Mhm.
really is a blessing, right? To be able to do that.
Yes, if I had to go into an office every day, I don't think I could start my day the way that I really need to start it. So
Yeah.
that's really a huge blessing.
Yes, I have a similar sort of practice, and I'm not sure how in the world I would be able I don't know how actually I managed without having that time, without having that whole, that hour of time in the
Yeah.
morning just to collect myself, just to get my vision for the day together and not have to hurry and rush, but really settle into what do I want out of this day?
Mhm.
The day is clean. What do I want from it? So I love that for you, and for those of you who are listening and you're not quite there yet and you're trying to figure out like how can I make more space and time? I do have to go into the office every day. You might think about waking up just a little early in order to get your space available to you for that period of time. So, thanks for that, Catherine. I'm
Sure.
going to yeah, so y'all know this season our theme is about creation. And so hence the focus on Catherine's creative work. And I'm going to ask you some questions, Catherine, about our theme. And I want to start with this first set of questions that really focus on how you create from soul and wholeness versus this idea of the constant hustle, the constant grind. Like content creation is the big thing
Mhm.
nowadays. And I've been watching on social media how it can get weighty. We took a hiatus from the Day Clean Devotion Queen podcast and a lot of content creation just to breathe, regroup, revamp, and provide a product that was worthy of the name. And for a minute, I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to create something all the time, but we don't, do we?
No.
What does creating from the soul mean to you, Catherine? How does that speak to you and how has it shown up in your journey so far?
So this year I chose to focus on my art. I do have a professional career that's, of course, paying all the bills. Um, I'll use
Yeah.
it one example. My boss came to me and asked me if I wanted to participate in a housing leadership program. And I was like, I don't think so. That's not my focus this year. And he was like, oh, okay, no problem. So I had to streamline everything down because I'm so skilled in so many things. I can be like an octopus and just be all over the place. And I was like, funnel it down. So
Okay.
this year, I'm like, what brings me joy? What makes me feel like I'm soaring inside? And so those things would be the Reiki, the writing, the candle making. And I've even been, I started bird watching a few months ago with my little yard bird feeder.
Love that.
So I've been taking pictures of them, if they'll let me get close enough. So I've been playing with digital photography on my phone because the Samsung camera is pretty good. So things like that, I think, connect me to my true life purpose. And that's how I'm creating from the soul.
Yeah. Catherine, I love how you said things that make me soar.
Hmm.
Like, because there is so much that we could do and we could focus on. I also appreciate how like redirected and said, no, that I'm not going to focus on that. This is what I want to spend time. And sometimes we feel like the pressure to to just accept it because A, we can do it, and
Mhm.
B, someone has asked us, someone maybe they're in leadership position or what have you. So yeah, um, kudos to you for picking the things that make you soar. Um, can you recall a time when you were caught in the hustle, where you found yourself being pulled or pulled to those things that didn't make you soar, and what called you back into alignment, if so?
So when I was caught in the hustle, I pulled you in with me. We were in
I
Hopewell. You
remember.
remember?
Oh, I remember. It was so long ago, Catherine. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
the children are adults now.
I was about to say, aren't they're graduate? Y'all, we'll have to have a whole nother podcast about the hustle of the nonprofit founder. A whole nother podcast, a whole nother series. Note
Yeah.
to self, a whole nother series.
So being pulled into an environment where I had to function as a social worker 5 days or more a week, depending on was I bringing someone's child home with me because I knew they needed a mental break, in a setting that had so many problems. Now, mind you, I majored in communications in college, did not touch social work at all. But I am a humanitarian and
Mm,
believe in helping community, being a donor, being a volunteer. I believe in all those things. Um, and as an empath, also being in that environment was just draining on me daily. So I would say I got pulled into someone else's dream, someone else's hustle, and I made it my purpose because I saw that the kids needed story because they had nothing else. Um, but when we were creating story and Steve said, Kathryn, you're going to oversee it, you created it. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that.
kicking and screaming.
And he said, I'm not worried about it because this is what you're going to do. I will never. I was in his office and I said, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to look for another job now. And he's like, no, I bet you'll be here with story. And I was for 8 years. And,
You were.
thank God you were with me. But that was not my dream for myself. But, I just kind of made it work. Um, Thinking of those kids.
Yeah. How did you how did you regroup? What was the regrouping process for you? What said to you, Catherine, it's time to get back more fully into your creative self? Like, how did
Mhm.
you make space for that?
So oddly enough, all the stars aligned one year at Story.
Ah, the alignment of the stars. We
um,
love that.
so I wrote the short film during COVID as a coping mechanism at the Visual Arts Center, and the class and the teacher really loved the screenplay. And screenwriting was something I'd never done before.
Mm,
So I was happy just to complete my assignment because at first I was very confused. Like, what do you want out of me? And so the teacher said, if you find $5,000, this script is good enough, or I will help you make this film. And so I just put it in the back of my mind. And then come January 2021, I called our program officer at the Virginia Commission for the Arts. And I said, her name's also Kathryn. I said, can you give me grant money to make this film? And so we spent an hour on the phone and she said, can you do a community program? And I said, sure. So we came up with improving health outcomes through storytelling, um, and then looped the film into that, looped youth workshops into that, looped a workshop for the adult women in public housing, of which you were on the panel for that too. You moderated. Thank you.
yeah.
And so I had been looking for years for Bank of America grant funding, like a contact. I could not find it. I got an invitation out of nowhere to apply for creative and cultural arts funding. And I was like, where does this come from?
Wow.
And then um, I had a colleague at the foundation find an anonymous donor to give me another 10,000. So I I got $30,000 in grant money to make the film, to do the workshops, and I ran with it because I was like, I know why this is happening. This is alchemy. This is alignment. It's whatever you want to call it.
We love the alignment. We're here for the alignment at DDQ. That's the touch word.
And so that put me back on my purpose
Hmm.
because I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
I'm a healer, yeah, but I'm also a storyteller, and I feel like I'm strong, put strongly here to tell stories, to communicate them in creative ways that nobody thinks about, even with my current job. I've been bringing that creative side to my work, and our LinkedIn profile has doubled over the last year. We just had an individual donor come in, and we had no individual donors when we started, so I was very happy about that.
Yes.
We set the bar low at 1%, but I'm making it, and I'm like, okay.
Hey, that's double from that's 100%. But write those metrics down, honey.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I just have to remember my identity, and
Yeah.
I'm going to identify as a Reiki master and a writer first before I identify as a professional that shows up to you.
Yeah. And it's so interesting that the title of that star alignment
Uh-huh.
work was returned to me.
Yeah.
Right? Is that so? Did you pick that title because that's kind of what you were trying to do and you were in that mode, or did it come to you as a part of the whole process?
I was in that mode. That was
Yeah.
a bit of my journey, leaving church, going in search of Black spirituality, Black spiritual practices. Who am I? I was kind of having an identity crisis after I got my little ancestry.com paperwork.
That Ancestry.com has caused more pensive moments in time. It
But
kicked off
it
more
was
crises.
so African. My mother was like, something is wrong. They did something wrong. And I said, no,
No, something is
I'm
right.
very much African and they're Scottish over here. She
Hmm.
said, no, because your grandfather was Indian and something. I was like, Mom, I licked the Q-tips and put it in the.
It's
She
my saliva, mama.
She said, it's just too much African. It's
Oh, our elders, God bless them, huh? We're still working, some of us working to fully embrace the beauty
yeah,
and the wonderfulness of Africanness.
yeah. So I was like, okay, I have DNA from these countries. I don't know, what's the practices, and um everyone's saying you have to have all these trainings and all of the things to work with the Orishas. But Yamaya came to me in a dream and was like, it's time for you to work with me now. And so, of course, I dream everything. And so I said, okay. So I had something that I wanted really bad. And I just got in my car and drove myself to Charleston, South Carolina, my favorite place. And I went in that ocean with my 7 pennies and my Tibetan prayer flags. That's another practice that I really love. I put those together, put it all in the ocean, and walked away. That prayer was answered a few days later.
Everybody's got a path, right?
Everybody has a path. And
Everybody's got a
for
path.
us, um, I think the original path was erased,
Mm,
and I needed to find the way back to the original path. And I've been so much happier.
yeah. And I can tell it because for folks who don't know, we've known each other for quite some time.
Uh-huh.
We've been through uh, some rough and tumble times, Catherine. We've been through some rough and tumble times. Oh, but I love this time for you.
Hmm.
I love this time for us.
Yeah.
And even though it's, all is not right with the world
Yeah.
by any
Especially not
stretch of the imagination,
God.
right? But I love this time for us. I love this time for Black women. I
Yeah.
do. I feel
And we
good.
gave ourselves a deadline with story, and we met the deadline.
We did.
We
We
did.
did. Because we rock. So you talked about this a little bit, but I want you to expand on it some more. Talk about your practices, your rituals, or your spiritual tools, the things you use to stay rooted in soul while you are creating, while you're on the path of birthing something new. Talk to us a little bit about what you do.
Um, so Reiki is a big part of my life. I administer Reiki to myself every day in the morning.
Tell
Um,
us what Reiki is because everybody doesn't know. I don't want to assume that all of the listeners know exactly what Reiki is. Give us the Reiki 101.
it's a Japanese healing art, and it works with your chakra system. So, of course, you've got your crown chakra all the way down to your root chakra that is just below your navel, and we're all energetic electric beings. I I can't I'm using Reiki and intuition because I've also had shamanic training with a shaman. So I'm just listening if I'm administering healing energy to you. Like my intuition is telling me, oh, go to her shoulder because this is happening there.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's kind of hard to explain, but if it's
No,
just
that's a good explanation. You
a
got you it's
regular Reiki session, I'm going to start with balancing all your chakras first. Um, And then I'm just going to start to go around you, like your whole body, so that your whole aura is balanced. And it could be in person or it could be remote, like I'm in the States, you're in Japan. I can still administer Reiki over the phone.
wow. Okay.
So that's definitely a tool. Um, my shaman taught me how to make earth mandalas. That's something I do. Like if your energy gets so heavy, you'll blow the heavy energy into sticks and you'll make a circle with the sticks. And you just keep blowing until you release all that energy from your body. You lay the sticks on the earth for about 2 to 3 days, and she calls it letting it cook. And then you wipe the
Right.
sticks away and you go get some flowers, so carnations, whatever you want. She uses carnations a lot. And then you make another mandala with the flowers, and you can decorate it with crystals. And then you let that sit on the earth to bring in the positive energy,
Mm.
um, and completely wash away all that negative, heavy energy you were feeling. I have friends who are sound healers.
Mhm.
I love sound baths; they're amazing.
Mhm.
And then you'll find me in the forest, in the ocean. There's a lot of magnesium in the ocean, and it's great.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and then just my journaling, working with the tarot and oracle cards that I have. I'm very much into divination, so you'll always find me doing stuff like that too. So those are the tools I use to keep myself uh, grounded. I would say that.
Grounded.
Yeah.
And that's a thread that I'm hearing across all of these different tools that you're describing. Just this practice of staying aware and grounded
Mhm.
and being out in Mother Nature, being out at with the source, like
Yeah.
connecting back
Mhm.
to literally our roots, right? Like
Yeah.
putting your feet on the ground, feet in the water, your hands around the trees, and
Mhm.
all of that healing energy that comes from that. And the
Mhm.
creativity that flows from that. So you're
Yeah.
it's a simultaneous process kind of, right? You're releasing, you're getting healing energy, and you are being inspired creatively.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, nice, nice. It sounds wonderful. I think I'm gonna go outside. No, I can't. We're in the middle of a flood.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna stay. It's kind of soggy outside. Um, so let me switch a little bit to a couple of questions about birthing, about bringing forth new ideas. So, what seeds have you recently planted in your life? Personal, professional, whatever you want to share. What seeds have you planted and how are you tending to it?
So professional, I've only been with Partnership for Housing Affordability for a year. So
Happy anniversary.
thank you. Um, so it was kind of like story in that it needed a foundation built that went beyond grant writing to bring in additional funding for the organization. So I was focused on like their digital marketing strategy, executing social media content. Um, I've This is the first organization I've worked at where there's actually a professional development budget for each staff person.
Isn't
So
that nice? Isn't
oh my
that
God,
nice?
I submitted conferences I wanted to attend to Javon, and he's like, okay, book them all. And I was like, what?
Are
Not
you sure? Do we have the money? Who's
that
going
was
to pay
my
for
reaction.
the travel? The questions of a small nonprofit founder. Uh,
That shock. I was like, what? He
are
said,
you serious?
he
Where
said,
does
do you
this
want
money come from?
he said, do you want an executive coach? I was like, really?
Yes.
So I really value working for this organization that is investing so much into us, because I've learned things at these conferences where
Mm,
I've been able to edit my work style and it benefit the organization.
yeah.
Um, so, just continuing on that path, we have one annual event and it was in a deficit last year. And this year I set a goal for myself. We have to make 25,000. And boy, when I tell you I watched that budget and that money come in, we just squeaked it. And I was like,
To,
yeah.
to the dollar. To
I
the
know.
dollar, baby.
It's like, Javon, you're working with an overachiever. Like I have to make my marks here.
It's Kathryn Thompson, aka the Dollar Finder. Okay, so just
Yeah.
understand that.
So, now I'm like, how do I make this event better for 2026? And
Yeah.
we're working on that right now. And then personally, Kite Tails is a poem. It's a poem I wrote after George Floyd was murdered.
Mhm.
Um, and I use poetry a lot if I'm experienced like heavy energy or emotions or grief. Poetry is normally the medium that I'll go to.
Yeah.
So while I was in the Pipeline Fellowship, most of the screenwriters were actually writing feature-length screenplays. I was the only one working on a TV series. And so our instructor, Clay, gave us the option to take a break from the projects we were working on and write a short. Um, because he said, a short could very easily be produced because the budget would be smaller. So I took
Sure.
the poem Kite Tails and I transformed that into a screenplay. And then at the end of the year, Cadence was going to choose one playwright and one screenwriter from each cohort to produce their work. My screenplay was chosen to be produced, but then they started I think the project program coordinator that they had started revamping everything with Sightlines Black Lives Matter. So that left my project without a producer. So now I'm like trying to find the money to produce it myself. I have,
Mhm.
some saved, but I think especially this year with everything that's gone on racially, um, um, right now it's primarily affecting the Hispanic community, right? But we all know that that will trickle down to us others, when they have time. So I really think it's important the way that I wrote it visually, and I took a nonlinear writing class this year, and
Okay.
so I edited the screenplay again because I was like, "Ooh, this is a very interesting writing format that I've never done." So I went to a writer's retreat. I had to submit the screenplay to go on the writer's retreat with Cadence this spring. Um, it was at a really nice Airbnb by the Shenandoah National Park, and there was a
Mm.
horses beside the Airbnb, and I was
Oh,
living my best life for a few days. Uh,
sounds wonderful.
yeah, so the screenplay is ready to go. So
Okay.
that's one thing that I really want to accomplish is to get that film made and get it submitted into some festivals. And then also I'd love to go grow my Reiki client base. I created an in-person space specifically for us,
Okay.
because I think as Black women, we don't really take care of ourselves. We're always taking care of others. And
Everybody
we need
else.
a self-care practice. So there's things that I'll do for myself on a quarterly basis. daily, weekly, whatever it is. So that was a space that I intentionally created for us. Everyone else is welcome, of course, but
Sure, but the
it was,
focus.
yeah, it was in my heart to create a space for us where we could come get healing. I've had all this training. I'd love to use it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
makes me extremely happy if your whole aura is balanced after spending an hour with me.
Ah, it sounds like it would be. So I'm hearing, I want to talk about your space for a minute, but before we get there, I'm hearing that you intentionally, not only like professionally, okay, there's professional development and the organization paid for these things, and they would. Yeah, it's an investment in you, but really it's an investment in them and they know it, you know. But I am also hearing that, you know, with these retreats and with, you know, applying for, you know, the opportunity to join fellowships and the like, you take the time to invest in your creative talent beyond the initial training. Like you are, it
Mhm.
seems like you have a intentional practice of building your toolkit and sharpening your skills and, you know, getting out there in front of people learning new ways of doing things. Is that intentional? Did it just are we talking alignment again? Like, did you say, Catherine, okay, I want to learn how to do this, so I'm going to apply for these things. How do you get to that point?
Um, at the beginning of the year, I sat down and I made myself a visual vision board in Canva.
Yay, vision
Uh,
boards.
and then I printed it out, and I've got one on my desk at work in the office, and I've got one downstairs in my divination space. So I can look at that every day and say, this is what I'm manifesting. So I took a
Hmm.
trip to Cartagena, Colombia, because I was just calling my spirit, and I'd been wanting to do it for 3 years. So that was the first thing I put a check mark on. And then I put a picture of some blocks that said write, edit, publish. And then I put like a film reel in the middle. So I have just been intentionally working around my vision board this year. I do enjoy the residencies and the fellowships because you get to be in community with other writers and you're only exclusively focusing on your craft.
Yeah.
So whatever else you have outside of that, it doesn't matter for however many days, and you just get to create and be in lovely spaces most of the time. And then there could be like a stipend. There was a stipend attached to the Pipeline Fellowship, at the end of that. So you got paid to
Mm.
work on your craft. And so it is my goal to learn how to get my poetry published, or there's an essay writing class I'm looking at the Visual Arts Center. I'd like to learn, more about that and start getting things published. I've been hiding it in journals for so long, my whole life, uh,
Yeah.
that and just ready to, try some new avenues with my art.
Time to birth it, time to bring it to life.
Yes.
I love that. The care, community, craft. I see all of those things working together beautifully in so kind of what you've described, and it's showing up in so many different ways in the work that you're doing, Catherine. Okay, I knew we were gonna get run over. We always it always seems like it's a short time. It's not. Let me wrap up with some questions about living your vision and living in an aligned way. How do you discern what is yours to create? What's in your alignment? What's on your path versus what's a distraction, right? What is going to distract you from that path? How do you make the distinction?
Um, I think you have to really know who you are
Mm.
and what your purpose for your lifetime is this go round to not get distracted. Distractions are going to come, especially if you're like us and you have all these talents and you always have people pulling at you for your talent,
Then,
right? I mean, I'll pull at you because I think you're amazing. So
and I'm like, Catherine, I don't have the bandwidth.
I know you just need to put your hand up. I'm like,
Catherine, I do need the money, but I don't have the bandwidth. I cannot deliver under my level of excellence. So thank you so much for
You use my example of putting the hand up and saying no.
Julie, yes, guilty as charged. Protect that space.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been getting better at that.
Good.
Yeah. So anything that isn't what I want, I've been getting much better at setting boundaries and
Mm.
saying no. I worked on boundary setting in therapy. It almost killed me that year.
The hard stuff always does, doesn't it? Breaks you all the way down.
Like I hate this word. But yeah, that's what I've been working on so I don't
Okay.
get as distracted.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So knowing your purpose, knowing yourself, and
Mhm.
then building the courage to say no, that's okay. Because we want to say yes because
Mhm.
we are so used to taking on the world's
Yes.
tasks.
Mhm.
And sometimes, but we're in a better and I'm talking about the main target for our audience here at DDQ. We're talking about African American women. I
Mhm.
think we are collectively doing some work around that hero complex, that cape. I think we have collectively sort of washed that cape off, sent it to the
Yeah.
dry cleaners, put it in that
Uh-huh.
special box
Yeah.
behind the glass.
Mhm.
We're doing better. We're doing
Mhm.
better. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of the collective and the DD community, what wisdom would you share? Say someone's listening right now and they are standing at the edge of their own creative vision, but they're afraid to leap. What words of wisdom would you share, Catherine?
Last year I found a quote by Rumi, whom I dearly love, and it said, "Lovely days don't come to you. You should walk to them."
Mm,
So, what are you afraid of walking to?
mm.
And then just go for it. Because if you don't chase your dreams, like who thought I would be a filmmaker? Not me. That wasn't even in my plan. I was like, how did I end up here? Next thing I know, I'm at Los Angeles taking pictures, living my best life. I was like, why
Red
did I
carpeting.
stay here?
Let's go.
So I mean, even if you have to do it scared, just do it anyway, because
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I love that. Do it scared. Um, okay. So this has been a beautiful trek through just a teeny tiny bit of your creative journey. We're
Yeah.
going to bring you back if you don't mind because we want
Sure.
to stay in touch and stay abreast of all these wonderful things you've got going on when you launch your second when you launch Kite Tails. We want to bring you in to talk about that and your book. But in the interim, where can our listeners find you? Where can they find out more about your work, get connected with you? How can they support what you're doing? Like, drop your contacts.
So for Reiki and candles, my Instagram is at the capital T, capital U, capital C, and then life with a capital L. And the business is called The Unconventional Life. And then I'm on LinkedIn at Kathryn T. Thompson if you'd like to connect with me professionally. Um, And if you like to help hold a fundraiser or anything like that to help me get a few thousand together to produce this film,
Yeah.
I've got the cinematographer and looking for some actors, and we'll be ready to go. Um, Trying to find Black people that won't be scared to stand in the ocean or the river for a minute.
The, the folks who listen to the podcast regularly know that learning to swim is on my vision board, and I am working somewhat diligently on that goal this summer.
Oh yeah, I need some Black
Okay.
women to represent the ancestors in the water.
I will go in the water. I will learn to swim. Oh, God be with me. It's gonna happen. Tell us about your space, Catherine. I wanted to go back to that. You said you created a space, not exclusively, but certainly with a focus for Black women. Tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about that before we sign off.
So I have downstairs in the basement a room where I do Reiki. So the Reiki symbols are on the wall, but I have artwork that is um, a Black woman with a short afro and she's outlined in orange and like
Mhm.
turquoise, but she's painted in just black. And it's so powerful. And then I've got a picture of Mount Kilimanjaro, and I love working with crow energy for transformation through the shamanic training. And so I've got, crows down there. I've got um, like lantern lighting, those paper lanterns. That's what I should.
Mhm, mhm,
So I tried to create a space that is beautiful with images where you can connect to yourself. Of course, Mount Kilimanjaro is in Africa. So I'm trying to connect to power that looks like me,
mhm.
that is in that ancestry.com DNA. Even though I haven't put my feet on it myself, but I'm going to connect
Okay.
to
Keep
that
calling it
energy
in.
and hopefully visit there one day.
Yes.
And so that's what that space looks like. I can send you a picture if you'd
Oh,
like.
please do, and I will post it as an
Okay.
attachment to the episode notes, and I will also include all of your contact information. So folks who are listening, Queen Sis, you want to get in contact with Catherine, just scroll down on your podcast platform.
Mhm.
All of the information will be there with hyperlinks. So, Catherine, so the next time we talk, I'm gonna do it in your Reiki space.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd love.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we're gonna will manifest before the year is out.
Okay.
And until then, y'all, we want to thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you for sharing your wonderful creative spirit with us here on the DDQ podcast. Thank you for taking the time to do this. I know you are a busy lady, so I really
My pleasure.
appreciate it. For those of you listening, if you learned something that spoke to your spirit and you enjoyed this episode, and I know you did, don't keep it to yourself. Sharing is caring. So share with your network. And until next time, we will see you and we are sending you all the best energy. Little teeny tiny Reiki session, right?
Yeah.
Sending you all the best energy for the remainder of your week. Thank you so much for tuning in, Queen Sis. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye bye.